Kids screaming in the cradles, profanities. I see the world through ice covered in ink and bleach. Cross out the ones who heard my cries and watched me weep. I love everything. Fire spreading all around my room. My world's so bright, it's hard to breathe, but that's alright. Hush. Take my eyes open to force reality. Why can't you just let me eat my weight in glee? I live inside my own world of make-believe. Kids screaming in their cradles, profanities. Some days I feel skinnier than all the other days. Sometimes I can't tell if my body belongs to me. I love everything. Fire spreading all around my room. My world's so bright, it's hard to breathe, but that's alright. Hush. And hold your breath and feel the tension. Devils hide behind redemption. Honesty is a one-way
Loot.bet, made for live betting.
Hello folks and welcome back to what will be our third and final best of 3 of the evening. Of course, it is the Loot.bet Cup. Prosto versus Existence Galaxy, both teams at the bottom of the table, both teams pretty much going to be relegated as well. So it's kind of a battle for naming rights almost, and also just to not be bottom of the league, I'd say. But I do think, just from napkin math, that Existence Galaxy pretty much are guaranteed that anyway. I mean, they've played 8 games, they've lost 7 of them, so it's pretty bleak for them right now, that's for sure. Skriv, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, it's sort of surprising. I think Prosto getting bested in the previous series is certainly something that might be affecting them coming into this game. And then we look at Existence Galaxy, where their offline history is not terrible, right? They had that little run at the DreamHack, and they looked all right. But then coming into this, it seems that sort of online in this particular tournament, and I'm not entirely sure others that they've been involved with. I've not seen a great deal of them outside of this tournament, but they just haven't looked very solid, right? And I think there's sort of flashes of hope, but very quickly things seem to fall apart for them. And then they just sort of, in similar fashion to what Prosto did in the previous game, just kind of start to play this very puggy, aggressive style and mentally check out of the game, as it were. And yeah, it's just a bit odd to see. Prosto, though, we'll see if they can bounce back in this series. I think, given the performance of Existence Galaxy recently, this is kind of a game that they could win. But then the skill ceiling that Existence Galaxy have shown us in the past kind of says that maybe they should win it. So it's a little bit of a hard one to call, I think.
Well, diving in on this round, it seems to be a fairly no-contact round thus far. 5-on-5 retake on the A site as the bomb has been planted without a single shot being fired on target. That will have to change, though, especially if it's in Galaxy want to be able to rate this retake work. As Barbar heads in close, he'll be executed point-blank range. More to be done now, so CTs will push on around yellow, but Flax in a great position here. Instantly shut down, actually, so not so great after all, but it's looking to be pretty tough for the CTs anyway, as they are just being traded on out. They are so low as well. Mork now just going to run to the distance, save the kitters. I mean, it's just not going to happen. It's a 1v3. He finds at least one, but they're all out of time, all out of hope, and the round is done. Round 1 to Prosto.
Yeah, I mean, it's relatively difficult. The A-bomb site is sort of like easily retakeable, but at the same time, you do have to close that gap. You have to use your USPs at range and try and overwhelm certain angles coming in all together. But I think the Glock's just a little bit too strong for the most part. We'll see coming into this one, though. Should be fairly doable for them, I think, at this point.
Kind of just letting this one play out. Slow and steady here, just USPs in play, not a huge amount really to bank on here for the CT side. You've covered all the bases, you've dotted the T's, crossed the I's. Now it's all about just those AKs walking on in and tapping those heads. So far so good, Freddy will fall very early on here. Just 4 remaining now, that's Barbar, Plopsky, Rusty and Nork. Looks like it's all being kept fairly clean as well. I mean, Def is relatively low, but he'll be okay, I think. Providing he positions himself smart. Doesn't look like anyone's going to be close by to punish him either. Plopsky may be thinking about going for a bit of a drive by Zeus.
Yeah, I mean, the Zeuses have kind of crept in places, but it wasn't as crazy in the previous series as it was in the first of the day. Should be, again, like you say, fairly simple, but it does come into that argument of don't want to give away too many kills. You've got Nork, who hasn't taken any damage, I don't think. Okay, so he has taken damage to the armor. Normally I would swap across and check. Oh, okay. He's managed to get one with the Deagle there. So I was going to say saving, you know, that armor, cheaper head armor, I guess. But like I say, it seems that that's not the case. So it does kind of make sense that he tries to fight his way out there and find a cheeky frag here or there. But still, you know, the head armor not necessarily required on the T side of thing, CT side of things, because those Ts do have the one-tap potential, regardless of what head armor you have or do not have.
Let's see if a bit of damage can be done here. Pretty much annihilated there and then. Not the most positive start to this Griff. Losing that duel immediately to the player on boost. And we're looking as well at that follow-up kill towards those in white box. What they might be caught out by, though, is this sandbag's position. Well, then Death throws the molly. It's almost like we shed on. It will be a kill that comes through, but it's quickly traded. I mean, Scriv, what's the solution right now for Existence Galaxy? They seem to be just getting picked off left, right, and center by this T side.
I would say maybe not to take early fights at range, kind of play your setups a little bit better, which they're kind of trying to do now. And as you can see, the trades coming back through for them does mean that they even things back up. But that mid control it's kind of difficult. The boost fight is a really T-sided one, I think, a lot of the time, because they can get there a lot faster. They can play a myriad of different angles just from that one spot. But it does seem to be working out for them a little bit here. Def going to get caught off. There's a timing I think we might have just seen from the feed that he, saw that player when he was spinning around, but unfortunately not quite able to capitalize. So it will be the first rifle round going the way of Existence Galaxy, which, I don't know, it kind of bodes well for them. It was looking a little bit dicey, like you kind of alluded to. The early round portion went heavily in favor of the Ts. They just couldn't do a great deal with the control once they earned it.
Looks like we are going to see a little bit more boost action come through. Definitely hoping this is the resurgence of the CT side. I want to see a close game here, and hopefully this can sort of rekindle the flame of Existence Galaxy, get them going. Obviously, we're so early days. We're only in round 4 right now, so by no means are Prosto leaps and bounds ahead, but they did have a very comfortable start. For sure. Flash will come out towards Highway. Freddy B now aware that he's going to be under pressure. There is a nice and deep nade, good bit of damage done, but Freddy has not left his position. That will be problematic, but he just outright wins the duel. Completely crushes Ekindred, no flash from his teammate, no nothing. The guy dry peeks around the corner and gets punished. But then Freddy B is a bit of a mare. Completely whiffs his spray and gives an easy frag up. That equalises the situation and basically nullifies the work he was unfortunately able to do in mid and puts a favourable situation on the board for the Prosto team.
That low HP player, though, is definitely a glaring issue at the moment. And Cash can be a hard one to, fight for the early picks. Like I say, these CT setups can be so hard to break across. They've only used one bit of utility. Great flash comes in. Barbar not quite able to capitalize initially, almost getting the second, though. So he's certainly done damage for the round, and in comes, the cleanup from the nades onto the lower HP players. The simple spray downs. Nice little flick from Flarich. But that will be all she wrote for that one. A second round in a row comes through for Existence Galaxy easily enough. And yeah, it's kind of, like I say, they throw one Molotov and then try and make their way out on towards the site. The smoke at car, it's not really enough to get out onto A, and they're also only coming in from like one area because the one player at mid gets taken down. So they kind of need to work out how they're going to use the splits effectively, how they're going to break apart some of these crossfires with a nice bit of utility of their own. Obviously not in this round, though, because they are going to be forced onto the eco. The one P250, and that is it. So it should be an easy pickup of a third for Existence Galaxy here.
Slow and steady for the CT side. Do not want to make any mistakes here against what will be just a glorified ball of pistols moving out through a main. Barbar's in a great position though to knock him dead, and I can throw the molly with perfect timing to the side. Oh no, buddy. That's not the one. Giving up a plant like that, a little concerning. Freddy down to 4 HP as well. But this should still be easily retakeable. I don't think I'm concerned just yet. There you go, we'll just quad peek them, get it done. That will put Existence Galaxy now firmly in the lead as well. 3 rounds, of course, on the board. Starting to find their rhythm a bit, their routine on their CT side.
Yeah, and this is kind of how I feel this one should go. I think Existence Galaxy do have slightly better individuals. It's why it's a little bit strange, like I say at the start. They're a decent side. They just don't seem to have performed very well so far across this Loot.bet Season 1. I mean, maybe, not putting in the work in terms of homework, reading other teams and things. It's strange. But they are playing their own game here on Cash, which I think is pretty cool. And so far, working out really well. It's another rifle round that's just going to get absolutely ripped apart, especially by Nork up on that boost. They know where Rusty is here at the back of Checkers. Def has crept in, and this would have been a great play had 3 of his teammates not already died. So he's going to have to go pretty huge. He will be able to get one towards car, surely. Not going to go for it just yet, though. As Barbar can be the next to fall. Does turn, has to be taken down there. And now it's kind of a question of damage control. They do have this kind of missing unknown entity sneaking in. Def looking now to get a control, as it's just a bit all over the place from that lone lurker. Plopsky looks away at the wrong time, but it works out for him because he actually inadvertently dodges the flashbang. And I think that pretty much secures the round, to be honest. I'm not sure if he heard the flash come in or if he just kind of coincidentally looked away at the right time. But nonetheless, a 4th round for Existence Galaxy.
Curious here to see, if it's the CT side will really make any changes at all, or if it's going to be just running much more of the same. Glad we're keeping a close eye on this AWP as well, though. It's certainly going to be tested if they do go for this sort of boost cluster play. So far, so good. There is the first. Going to swing for the second as well. A little ballsy, but immediately towards mid-garage. That's kind of where your head gets blown off, and so it will. The deal just going to gobble you up. Now they push close. That's another 1 dig. That is incredible. 2 back-to-back digs come through, and that is going to put them in an advantageous situation now, and gives up an AWP for Kinder as well. We're looking now towards quad, try and clear that out. Plopsky going to be holding con, just making sure that no shenanigans happen in towards CT. So at least there's assurance there. But there's so much firepower just given up to this T side, which really shouldn't be the case. One thing to note, though, is that the AWP is in the arms of Yakinda. Meanwhile, the AUG is in the arms of Kenzel. Now, the key difference between these 2 players is one has Kev, one does not have Kevlar. So, definitely a little bit concerned about the aim punch department here for Kenzel with the AUG. But hey, I mean, who cares? The Ukrainian guy has got it down pat, finds himself not only 1, but a chance at a second as well. All he's got to do is...
Yeah, now with that... It's a little bit awkward here, I think, with this bomb going down. I'm not quite sure how to get back into the site. Rusty will come from the same main angle, which kind of does give him a fair amount of control, to be fair. If he can work slowly but surely into the site with his teammate, they will indeed. It's a really good smoke, in fact, to just clear out 2 players. It does dissipate, but there should be enough time for the hole to come in unless they manage to deal with him. The Molotov going to go down, but oh, he does eventually fall to Kenzel. That was so close. So very close. Prosto able to steal a round away there from the jaws of defeat for sure. Off the back of, very nice drops into their laps, very, very good stuff. But I noticed, you kind of comment, I think the AUG is not too bad without the armor, to be fair, because of that first bullet accuracy and sort of the high fire rate you can sometimes get away with compared to weapons like the AK and the M4.
Hey, if you can,
get away with using it without the armor, right?
The problem is if you need to land that 180 flick if you're getting shot in the back, or if they land the first tag on your shoulder and then you return fire, like just a reaction thing, then it can potentially be problematic on that first bullet accuracy. That's, I think, the only concern.
The boost play coming through once again. I think this is one of the things that maybe Existence Galaxy learn from quickly. You don't want to fight them on this. You should 100% just give them the control, in all honesty. Of boost, at least, not mid.
I was going to say, if you give them boost, you can't give them mid. The problem with that, and really just sort of general mid thing on cash, is unless you're specifically playing around the fact that they have mid control, then mid becomes the most important part of the entire map. Because when you look at it from just a tactical point of view, actually we'll dive on this in just a second, but I don't want to miss out on the action here that's happening on the A side. It looks like kills are coming in pretty thick and fast, favouring this T side as they do just plunder the entire site pretty much, leaving just Plopsky all alone. Our man's in a 1 versus 3, and I think he's already going to begin to save. So we can dive back to the more analytical point now, which is that if you don't have mid control, how many ways can you get to the B site? you get to the B site one way, right? Go through B halls from T-spawn, either from mid garage via sunroom, or right up back from the garage exit into T-spawn itself. If you want to go to A, you can only go through A main or squeaky. You do have that additional avenue of squeaky you can get through, with again not going through mid. Now, if you gain mid control, you suddenly have a whole additional 2 different ways to get to the B site, either wrapping through CT, which is obviously the really uncommon and ballsy route, but you also gain checkers control as well, the ability to drop in through vents. So you have this B split functionality. Now on cache, the B split is one of the most powerful things you can do on cache. It is by far one of the strongest executes. In like, if you've got the Molotovs down, you're in the right position to call for it, and the timing is correct, and basically, your IGO's got a read on lock, that B execute can be impeccable, especially with the right smokes and Molotovs, as I've talked about. The other thing you gain, obviously, is over on towards the A site, you gain this highway control. And highway, again, is such a useful tool on cache because it gives you this control over the entire map, pretty much. Because if you have highway control, you can then either go back to vent, you can work through connector, you can work up highway, you can take, start taking forklift control, splitting out through a main, you can put pressure on towards highway to drive rotations, then go back and B split. Like, you have all this flexibility that's gained from mid control. In short, mid control is by far the most important part of playing CT side cache. And it all drives from you playing around that. If you know you're not gonna fight mid control, then you gotta be playing around that. I.e., have a player playing barrels, looking down highway, and being compared to contest highway control and contest specific parts of it. Anyway, that's a ramble on CT side cache for you. Hopefully that makes some sort of coherent sense. Now let's look at some Deagles hitting some shots. Rusty putting in the work. That's a swift double kill from him, and he's hungry for more. Can he get himself a rifle to work with, though? That is the question. The answer is no, as the T-side will mop things up. The rifles putting in the work as they do swing out towards forklift. But look at this. Rusty is 1 and then a second as well. With a single missed shot in the space of 3 seconds. Absolutely perfect.
That kind of bodes well for this round as well. I mean, sure they are able to get a pretty decent buyout, but there is an argument to be made that give it a little bit more time, another couple rounds in a row off the back of, if they can win this one, for Existence Galaxy, and they can very quickly reset the economy of Prosto here. Freddy beat that org, deadly angle. In at the sandbags, kind of making it a pretty decent spot. In the past, it's always been a bit more of a bait kind of angle, quite hard to fight from, but that looked like a pretty decent angle. Not going to find Flarich as well. This is something that I think Prosto struggle with. They lose the first man, and then someone somewhere across the map tends to try and take matters into their own hands, make a bit of a solo play in order to compensate, and then it just ends up getting worse, as you can see. Great little team play, a beautiful flash. 2 men holding this down as well. And that is pretty much all she wrote. Round over in a matter of seconds there as Avon going to fall.
The phrase you're looking for is discipline, right? I mean, that's really what you're saying is that you can't afford to... Okay, you've lost a pick. An example of a pick you lose is... Okay, yeah, your teammate swings B and peeks the AWP B and he dies. The worst thing you can then do is immediately get on the aggressor somewhere else, or really just basically go and try and be a hero, because being a hero does not win you games. You gotta have that discipline to work with a team and create an opportunity for you to find that pick back and basically find that trade. And you can get that, you can do so many different things, like pop flashes, 101 different ways you can go to a specific area of the map targeting a player, a position, and you can work with your team to set yourself up to find that kill and ultimately trade. Going and trying to be a hero on your own, it's it can be, don't get me wrong, you can do it, you can throw a solo veggie rep smoke as we see here, and then you can pop flash out, maybe try and do some work there, but just running around dry trying to see if you can force a pick and really bring something back and win the round single-handedly, 9 times out of 10 is going to put you in the grave.
Yeah, and I think Cache is a map where info is quite important, but it's a map where you can sort of gather info with utility, if that makes sense. You see that Molotov coming in there towards the vents, you're like, right, I know that for the next few seconds there's going to be no one in vents. Or you can, as you see, smoke out, Molotov out, different spots, especially in mid, to kind of isolate them. And it's very hard to fight the utility on Cache as well. You can push smokes on Inferno, on Overpass and things to work your way through the smokes. But you can't really do that on Cache because it could end up being a bloodbath, basically. Because you're a heavy, at least on the CT side, you're at a heavy disadvantage. There could be everybody on the T side there. Like, what are you hoping for? And it's a bit difficult to flash everybody as well. So whereas on Inferno you have like CT smoke, a flash comes through from a teammate and you push through. You've got like 3 players blind. You know, maybe Train comes in from heaven, something along those lines. I mean, Train's a little bit of a different one, but I think it's just difficult. Cash is a hard map to fight against the utility that T side players use. You kind of just have to let it happen as a CT. And again, we see it here. There's not a great deal of discipline from some of these players, peeking out a little bit too over aggressively, and it's a fairly simple early pick into B, round 1 from Prosto.
Really liking this game so far because it's like showing a lot of the fundamentals of Counter-Strike, and we're able to talk about that, which is always positive. It's always nice. Obviously, you know, some teams you can see a little bit more screamy CS. Some other teams, you know, it's a bit more intense, and you don't really have the opportunity / the time to break these things down. So it's nice to have a little bit of a change of pace in this map. Hopefully, for you folks at home, you're taking something away from what we're saying. If not, well, I don't know. Go back to trying to win those MM games, I suppose. That is the end goal. What rank are you on MM, by the way, Scriff? Just to ask. I'm curious now. I've gone there, so I might as well ask. Is this where you hit me with the goal level 2?
I'm gonna go with the peak. Okay. And when I was like playing, trying to get good and stuff like that, I was like LEM.
Oh no.
But most of the time,
oof.
It's still not great, right? But like, you know, most of the time when I jump on these days, A, I haven't played in ages. I just watch a lot of CS. And B, I play with like a lot of friends who are relatively new to the game, so we sort of just like mess around and things like that. So I'm sitting at about like MG1 at the minute, so it's not really ideal. But
not what you like to hear.
Yeah, I haven't played in like, I probably don't have a rank.
That is
like this kind of just, you know what I mean, at this point.
This is just spiraling out of control.
Yeah, because I haven't played in a while. But like I said, I just watch a lot.
As well. Got the CT smoke and headshot smoke coming through. 3 players drop one on him, but Plopsky is about to go wild. The man will drop out of vent, and he should be able to get himself a kill here, and he will. And that will pretty much solidify the B site victory here, as Freddy will finish things off, catching the vent rotator. And just like that, we are all tied up 6-6.
Indeed. I'm kind of, at the moment, just to sort of justify myself, my competitive fix coming from a little game called Brawlhalla. Don't know if you know it. It's like a fighting game, sort of like Smash, in a sense. It's pretty fun. And that's where I'm pretty good at that. That's where I'm getting my competitive fix at the moment. But we're not watching Brawl. We're watching CS, mate.
Well, this game is a bit of a brawl. You know, 6-6, we're all tied up right now. So hopefully we do see a bit more action.
It's true though, right?
I mean, it's true. We've got to make it work, man. You've always got to tie it back in, you know. The more cringer it can be, the better it is. I mean, being able to speak accurate English would also be pretty useful, but who knows, man. It's a tough ask. So we are going to
It's been a long day.
A couple of trades come back and forth, though, but ultimately it is Prosto up ahead in the 4v2 here. And just like that, Prosto will take the lead. 7-6. Looking for that 8-6, of course, to guarantee that half win. And 8-7 probably being, I think, worst case here. I think that's safe to assume. But it really depends on what's possible here for Existence Galaxy. They have basically no money in the bank, so they'll have to just think about this and really attack round 15 with all their might to secure that 8-7.
Yeah, they're looking pretty good, to be fair. It's sort of not quite what I expected. I thought that Existence Galaxy would get off to a good start, get that momentum, and then it would just carry through for the rest of the half. But it seems it's kind of not really worked out that way, to be honest. I don't know. Prosto just kind of, in some of these rounds, you know, they when they need to win a few in a row, get aggressive in good places, and then they managed to just break the economy. I mean, it's that bitter CT economy. Nice find by Avon. I think he spotted out the feet, knew that he was there. Thought he might as well go for it. Barbar going to fall. Obviously, showing himself fairly early on with the smoke onto the Molotov. Freddie B as well, going to get tagged down pretty low here. Not really ideal at this point. Rusty might get away with one, but he gets blinded up. This is a lot better from Prosto. I remember way back when they hit this bomb site and they just kind of ran out with a Molotov and a smoke. And, you know, it was just too easy for Existence galxay, really. Because they Molotoved a spot where no one was in the first place. And then they just kind of mowed them down. But this is a lot better. I mean, it's against pistols, but still. It just kind of shows that they've adapted and developed in this first half to pull off much smarter plays, much more methodical plays. And it pays off, as you can see.
Major benefit as well is just not looting players. They've really built up their economy, which has allowed them to have the back and forth battles they've got themselves embroiled in. Obviously 8-6 here. Existence galxay's money still not perfect. It is around 38.50 per player, so you know whatever they go for, it's gonna be somewhat scrappy anyway. So they are going to have to rely on some SMGs and potentially some pistols with utility and such behind them. Definitely less than ideal.
This boost could be interesting, something that they've not pulled out very often previously. And could give them a bit of an edge going into the second half. Obviously, losing that mathematical advantage, but it's all about making it as small as possible for Prosto. And like I say, a little bit of a difference could do them well. But again, opening pick going to go the way of the T side. A second to come through as well. Barbar's spot now even more important if they opt to go towards A. I mean, they've got control on both bomb sites, to be frank. There you go. They're going to spot him out. He finds one. Oh, he knows that there's a player in Squeaky. He tries to go for it. Does get the dink, but not quite able to finish it off. 4 versus 2 should be an easy enough cleanup if they get the trades. The fundamentals of the trading looking really good. And now it's all onto Rusty with a UMP and a dream, I would say. He's looking for the AUG, but it's nowhere to be found. There it is.
Finally picks it up, but I mean, taking the words right out of his mouth, probably. The whole idea of a dream here, I mean, he's got so little time to work with. At least as a kill, I suppose, but he's not even got a smoke. He's only got a singular flash that's been thrown. No kit as well, bear in mind. Yeah, I mean, that pretty much solidified it now. It is done. A 9-6 half. Overall, I think Prosto are going to be pretty happy with that, to be honest, on the T side. Existence galxay, meanwhile.
Loot.bet. Made for live betting.
Welcome back, folks, to the second half of Existence Galaxy versus Prosto. Apologies for the short intermission there. We did have a couple of technical hiccups to resolve on the server side of things during our break. As you all know, we do a quick ad break during the break, but we did take a little longer there to come back to you, as we did just fix that technical issue in the server. But we are alive and kicking. We're ready to go into our second half. The scoreline is 9-6. If you have just joined us, and we're looking forward to seeing what these two teams are made of as we go into what will be our second half, the conclusion of Cash Map 1 in this best of 3.
Here we go then, hit in towards the A site, a little bit of a repeat of our first half pistol, where the T's did come out on top. We'll see what the CTs have got this time around. Flarich going to find the first kill, and a very quick flank coming in as well towards A main. They're not ready for it on the T side. The bomb's not even gone down yet. It will eventually get planted by Rusty, but he is trapped in on this site and will get taken down. Just the one kill for Nork. Everybody else falls pretty easily there. Prosto with a great read, a great reaction, and they will manage to get that 10th round.
That was pretty cut and dry, wasn't it? I mean, there really is absolutely nothing to add. They just read them like an absolute book, found every single kill required of them. Didn't deny the bomb plant, but overall not really a major point of contention. It's a really solid start. That is going to put them onto 10, of course, as well. So hopefully this is where we begin to see them, potentially leapfrog out and look for that 16-6, 16-8 sort of scoreline, which is what was the most commonly sort of predicted scoreline. It was going to be between 16-8 to 16-6. Pretty solid start too. I mean, Kenzor just picking off one with an MP5. Pretty important to get those early singular frags, because you don't want to get overwhelmed by the numbers of Existence Galaxy, which is always a T-side strat, right? Like a split B.
Yeah, for sure. I can see what they mean. I was just quickly looking on HLTV, right, for the map picks, just to be sure of who's picked what and stuff. And it seems their score for a second was on 19-12, so I'm not quite sure. A few server issues, as we said, seemingly still in play. So it should be all sorted, hopefully. I think this is going to be a pretty easy round. Yukandar with a nice little 2k there on the P250 would kind of telegraph the fact that he's going to be going towards that AWP. But, yeah. I don't know. I think Existence Galaxy, we've got Overpass coming up next. It's their pick, and it is a pretty solid map for them. But Prosto, for me, I feel like they do have some pretty good CT sides. Overpass can hand itself to that CT side, so it would be nice for Existence Galaxy to make this one a bit more competitive. And now coming into the first rifle round of the second half, we shall see if they can pick things back up. It looks to be a very quick movement towards A, but there's very quick movements in Squeaky Door. Yeah, we'll see about this. Barbar and Rusty doing very well, though, to shut it down. Maybe a bit too telegraphed, a bit too loud. Kandar will trade one back, and in comes Def as well to bring it back into a 3 versus 3. So it's certainly doable for both teams at the moment. Looked like it could have very quickly swung out of favour, but again, it comes down to that discipline, the over-aggression from the T side, perhaps. Flarich, I think, was expecting a smoke to come in there before the face did, so caught a little bit off guard, and into a 3 versus 2 on the retake. The CTs, no kits available, and an AWP as well. Probably just going to look to save this one.
Yeah, you'd think they'd have that one pretty locked down, to be honest, once you get into that 3v3 sort of territory, but then it was a complete whiff on B. It kind of all went downhill from there, and now, yeah, definitely in the firm camp of saving. Carry the AWP forward into the next round, along with the M4 as well. Just make round 19 a little bit more plentiful for your CT side. Obviously, right now, they're on 11 at the end of the day, so it's not, a negative situation for them. Their opponents are on 6, or soon to be 7. So there's still a bit of a gap to work with. You just got to make sure you don't throw it away.
Well, they can spread the wealth a little bit thanks to a few of those brilliant SMG kills. And they will pull out a fairly decent buy here, to be fair. Maybe lacking a bit in the utility department in places, but it's workable, it's doable, and maybe Existence Galaxy not expecting them to have as strong a buy as this. Still, they're going to play it out slowly and smartly, one would assume. Nice little nades going towards A main. Doesn't do a great deal of damage, but still like the idea. As it was something they went for in the previous round. Very aggressive A main control early on. As a lot of, T-sides do. It makes sense. A main is something that's a lot easier for you than it is for the CTs. They're going for this squeaky push again. Barbar only good for one this time around, though, and there's no one really near him to trade the second. So it's a 4-on-4, make it a 3-on-3 as we get a bit of a trade over on B. However, it's Plopsky to find the advantage and Rusty to solidify it. Should be an 8th round. 3 versus 1 for Yikandar over on the A site again on that AWP. Probably not fancying the fight here.
That's actually a really good pick to find. I wonder what Yikandar does. I imagine he's going to save, but the question is where. Bear in mind, he knows that there's a chance they could be saving towards his direction, so he needs to be very careful here. Ooh, misses the shot, actually gets a perfect opportunity to drop that AWP at the hands of Existence Galaxy, but repeat, that'll pay off, and the AWP is now trapped in Sunroom. Rusty will have to go and try and retrieve that, but he's just going to escape towards top con anyway, so he's out of the action. The AWP is gone. They've got just enough money to be able to rebuy it. They're actually got to be very careful about these losses, especially if they're going to be wielding the EWP on that T-side.
Well, take a look here. What Yikandar can do. Might just have given himself away a little bit there, the sound of that smoke hitting him, but there's a lot of players pushing forwards. Freddy B needs to be careful, just managed to find the first, arguably the most important to find there. A little bit strange as to why the AWP is going first and not, baiting the pistol players out. Haven will get his hands onto it and the kit, but I think the round kind of gone at this point. Flarich trying to hold with the Deagle, does manage to get one, and second coming through for Def here.
You gotta trust in the Deagle, man. It's possible.
I mean, yeah, but can you trust it to win the round? I think that's a little bit out of the question. He will get taken down from behind. And now I think Haven just back away, save the AWP into the next round, and maybe allow Kenzo to get a couple exits.
Looks like it will be the case. Only difference is that AWP is going to be holding towards car. Now it's quickly going to sprint on away, realizing that his teammate has fallen. Just going to try and stay alive, so at least there's that. But it's not looking too good for Prosto right now. We've seen a streak of rounds really build up now for this T-side, and a pretty impressive T-side at that. You can see just how close this game reflected, of course, is in the odds as well. 2.01 to 1.75. Provided, of course, you buy Loot.bet. 8 to 11, the current scoreline. We are going to see that, of course, grow to 9 to 11 now as well.
Terrorists win.
Check out some
Not the
deeks
cleanest of... Yeah, I mean, it's not the cleanest of kills. Def's was quite nice, I suppose, but just a summary of all the CT kills there. Another buy round coming in for Prosto. This is where their lead is heavily under contention. Ooh. Freddy's super aggressive. It actually pays off. It looked a little bit dicey for a second. You know, the flash didn't quite work in the way that he wanted. Return boost coming in here towards Vents. It's aggressive all over the shop, and Freddy left on 19 HP. So it's a slim advantage right now for Existence Galaxy. But an advantage nonetheless.
So that is something we'll have to keep in mind as the push gets ready to fortify itself now upon the A site. A couple of bits of damage going to be done either side. The first blood, though, does go to the CT side as aggression comes through. Flaric waltzing into a main, drops them all dead before the smoke will bloom, leaving just Freddy B and Nork to basically wander to their death single-handedly. That is the case. Nork down, Freddy B to go. You know, practically every single player is in that A main area ready to hunt him. Obviously now leave. Yeah, just gonna wait. It looks like you're just gonna basically sit on the A main corner, just judging by the minimap. He can't get up highway because he's got basically death holding there. Albeit he's not actually posting highway, he's just holding the actual peak towards top of it, but still. Can't really make much ground here. And I imagine the third player will be posting on con, Ivan. There you go, observers. Perfect work. Oh, Ivan, you gotta hit that, buddy. There you go. Lovely stuff. Just the way we expected to see. Look at this push from Flaric, though. Every single shot lands. He also finds the kill behind. The only downside is he doesn't realize Nork is crouched behind the box. So Nork does get away unscathed there.
Good old GoPro. But yeah, Prosto, I think that was, like I say, one of the most important rounds of the game so far. It's going to force the rest of the T side here onto the pistols. Deagle's in play again. Never really write them off, but you would assume that this is going to be a 13th for Prosto, and then they start to look a bit more dangerous. One more rifle round, I think, and they take the game. It's safe to say. But Existence Galaxy, you know, they've had some decent rounds here on the T side. Just again, similar to their CT side, they struggle with consistency in terms of the economy and reliably pulling buy after buy after buy out. And as soon as they lose one after winning a close one, or they lose two in a row, you know, it looks almost impossible for them in rounds like this. Another Deagle dropped, and I think this should pretty much be it. They're just playing the range smartly and not taking too many over-aggressive peaks.
Just don't give it a
on
chance,
the
right?
side.
If you don't give the Deagle a chance to 1DQ, then you don't get 1D'd. It's like simple thinking. Just play it smart, peek it together with your teammates, and you can pretty much clean up. And that's what we see. It's smart, calculated decision-making. Ensures no shenanigans happen, and it you know, the way I always used to think about it was it stops Nikos from happening, right? You don't see no like 1v4 Nico clips on Reddit because you don't give him 1v4 opportunities. You don't allow him to peek into one by one and set up those headshots. Just swing him together,
you
get it done, and you're happy days.
Yeah, and if you just wait a little bit as well, you force him to come to you.
That spray through the smoke in mid. Oh,
I
buddy,
know, right?
Kinder, you are 16 HP. You should be counting your lucky stars right now.
That is for sure. I think we've all been there in a scenario like that. But that's something they've been doing a lot on the Existence Galaxy side, is just getting super aggressive very early on. Sometimes it works out, but not always.
Liking the molly from Flaric, that will deny the A presence. Polsky now completely blind, makes his position known. He rattles away with the Galil. That's a pick gained, and it's also not punishable from Existence Galaxy. The only real sort of way in is either to retake A main, push up through highway, which is ballsy in itself, or come out through squeaky. However, if you can combine the squeaky play with the highway presence as well, then we might be set for something. We might be looking at a round. But the more they wait, that smoke will fade in connector. You can see Yakinda being given that opportunity to put in some work here. Whether that's him pop flashing himself out and swinging, whether that's him just listening for steps and playing contact. There's a lot of different things that he can do here, just from a timing point of view, that can be problematic for this T side. And obviously Freddy has the bomb on his back as well, which is pretty crucial. If that bomb gets dropped on A main, then that A main retake has to happen. Alright, so far so good though. Flaric. Trying to see if he can find the first. Freddy will be good for one of his own jumps on a round, but the dive through the smoke is where he falls short. His teammate finds a second kill needed as well to close out the round. 14-9 will be the scoreline Existence Galaxy, very little they can do here from an economical point of view, means that we can expect 15-9 to come through, and it'll be one final stand with 0 mistakes possible for Existence Galaxy in this game.
Yeah, they're not playing for the overtime, playing for the win. So kind of going to have to make this buy work, honestly, otherwise it's going to be a really tough time in that final round, and it's a lot of utility, but it's not a great deal of weaponry is the issue. And they've early rotated someone over towards B here. Prosto trying to get the heavy read play, and I think it's going to be the correct move, because as you can see, they are heavily grouped up, pushing in, committing, to that B bomb site. Nork will actually find Yukandar, Kenzor, and Avon, though, are still here, you know, and they've now rotated everybody else across. It's a 4-on-3, almost directly on the site, but they opt to kind of move back, run away. And I think that's now going to give the control to Prosto, because, you know, that coordinated attack is not really going to be coming through over on a left a player on B to try and do some damage. He will actually get one. Now kind of making the CTs second guess themselves. But Def is here to hold it on down. Spots out the first, finds his head. Second as well. Surely soon to follow.
How is he still alive?
Def's left on 4
This man is
HP.
Neo from
Avon's
the
like,
Matrix.
get out of the way, mate. I'll show you how it's done.
No,
But
he just won't
makes
know.
a fool of himself. At least Def is there for the trade. Oh, and that's so awkward from Plopsky, because he only needed to land one. It's a bit all over the place in this round, but kind of going the way that ultimately we would expect. It's a bit close in the end, but a 15th comes through for Prosto here, and they've got 6 rounds to do it in. And like I said, that buy from Existence Galaxy not going to be great.
I really like Twitch chat's response to that. It's just one big oof. that really sums up the round for me in a nutshell. It's always a fun one. Either way, let's see if this will be done right here, right now. The mid-smoke comes through. Early volley towards boost as well. That will decline any presence on boost or really mid at all for this T side. And it looks like they are all just going to bunch up in a main, go for maybe an execute, or even something as basic as smoke cross and flash, flash out, take full control, MBK control. Just try and just generally take control of something on the site. Let's see how it pans out, but it pretty much looks like it is going to be that execute. But there is no one outside lining up those smokes, so when I say execute, I just mean cross smoke. That really is it, and then maybe some flashes, but there's no even set pop flashes. It is just, we're going to throw a flash through the smoke and basically flash cross, and then we're going to go. Which they are doing in their defense. They are out of the site. Damage is being done as well, left, right, and center, as all the kills seem to be going their way. Up until now, we're starting to see some retaliation come through from the duo in CT, as they both begin to come in through car. Plopsky's 19 HP, Rusty is 44, Nork is 73. For the CT side, these Orgs could make easy work of them, especially if they give up one-on-one duels. Kenzor's life has just been saved by his teammate.
Yeah, a little bit there. Now this is where the Org going to come into fruition. That's the highest HP player that gets taken down as well. Plopsky just holding this tight angle, hoping to, spot a player's arm maybe before the head. Time is now of the essence, to be fair. Great peek coming in, but the Orb with the double spray down as they try to, face at the same time. It's kind of a good play to go with, but stacking a little bit too heavily perhaps on top of each other. And that will be that. 16-9 as Prosto with a really, really good CT side coming through, and this overpass looking a bit scary for Existence Galaxy.
Yeah, I think that's definitely going to be the case. Overpass. Likely to be, I think it requires some real tactical cohesion, so it depends on if Existence Galaxy are able to bring that to the table. From what we've seen in their previous matchups in this league, that isn't the case. And also, I think it's worth highlighting, no matter what happens now in this best of 3, or really in general in this league, they are done for. They've lost every single game bar one. So this is just about a pride game for them now. So we'll have to see what they can show for themselves in map 2. It will be Overpass. Folks, do not go anywhere. We'll be back with you soon for map 2 in just a few moments' time.
Loot.bet. Made for live betting.
want to get off the darkest ground, but gravity pulls you straight down. Earth from a bird's eye view. You should grow feathers and see this too. When you want to get off the darkest ground, but gravity pulls you straight down. When you want to get off the darkest ground, but gravity pulls you straight down. Clear sky. Without you, I remember myself, my name. Forgot about all you tried to change. Familiar was the sound of your voice as I continue to walk on by. It has been a year and now I'm living on the line. It has been a year and now I'm thinking what's mine, that I'm better off right here without you. That I'm better off right here without you. That I'm better off right here without you. I live inside my own world of make-believe. Kids screaming in the cradles, profanities. I see the world through ice covered in ink and bleach. Cross out the ones who heard my cries and watched me weep. I love everything. Fire spreading all around my room. My world's so bright, it's hard to breathe, but that's alright. Hush. Take my eyes open to force reality. Why can't you just let me eat my weight in glee? I live inside my own world of make-believe. Kids screaming in their cradles, profanities. Some days I feel skinnier than all the other days. Sometimes I can't tell if my body belongs to me. I love everything. Fire spreading all around my room. My world's so bright, it's hard to breathe, but that's alright. Hush. redemption. Honesty is a one-way